Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to my channel once again, Marty the Mad Magpie. Hope you're all okay this morning, and thank you for joining me once again. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe. The subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Be lovely to hear from you in the comments box as well. Okay, I know this sounds a bit strange, me coming on through the week, talking about Newcastle United, but it's about the headlines which have hit the paper this morning, the Daily Mail, in fact. Craig Hope has written in the Daily Mail this morning about last June that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia contacted Boris Johnson and asked him to intervene in the takeover process of Newcastle United so the takeover could get done. And obviously, we've only just heard this now. This has just come out because emails have been released about the takeover between government officials and the parties involved, and it's really, I mean, what you've got to take, Craig Hope, you've got to take whatever he says with a pinch of salt, as you do with everything with this takeover saga. But the main reason I've come on this morning is because that it's hit the front page of the Daily Mail. Obviously, the photo at the top is the Queen, Prince Philip, and their great-grandchildren. But then underneath, the headline is about the Crown Prince contacting Boris Johnson about intervening, about government intervention in this takeover saga. And in the article, it actually states that if the government didn't intervene, then that could be problematic for relations between the UK and Saudi Arabia. And obviously this is going to turn up the heat on the Premier League now, now that this has surfaced again, because, the Premier League blocked they say they didn't block the deal, but they did. They blocked it, along with the help of a couple of Premier League clubs, which I'm not going to mention, but, you guys will know who they are, and they know who they are as well. And, they blocked the deal simply and purely because, they said, it's to do with piracy and it's about the country's human rights and stuff like that. Well, at the end of the day, these guys are just trying to complete a business transaction. Buying a football club, it's not political. It's got nothing to do with that. And, these people who were shouting it at the time, to get the deal blocked, it's absolutely unbelievable. But, I mean, let's just look at it for a second and let's just have a look at some of the facts here. Obviously, these guys come in to buy the club, and the Premier League at first said, something's not right here because you're pirating matches which are screened by Qatari sports channel, BNN Sports, and, we're not happy about that because they've got the contract for the Middle East for the Premier League football. Well, in recent months, it's said that the Qataris and the Saudis have already agreed on, on a compromise. That is what has been said. So that would be a damaging factor for the Premier League. But, I mean, at the end of the day, all the Saudis have to say to Qatar is, look, instead of us, having to transmit the games illegally, why don't you guys just give us, why don't we just give you a few quid and, we'll share the rights, because we can give you more than what you paid for them. We're not going to take them off you, but we'll share them, we'll split them. And I don't know if that's happened, but it seems to be good progress as far as that is concerned. But, I mean, the headline that's hit this morning, which I thought at the time when they said that the takeover was could be blocked by the Premier League, I said at the time, well, if that does happen, then surely these guys aren't just going to take it lying down. Because the thing about the Saudis is, if they want to get a business deal done, they will get it done, whatever it takes. That even if they have to pay through the nose to get it done, they'll get it done. But apparently the Crown Prince contacted Boris Johnson and said, look, we want to complete this business transaction in the UK, and we're being stopped by this this mere organisation called the Premier League. I mean, they put themselves about as that they're a massive organisation. They're not really, they're just in charge of the league. And, they're not in charge of world football. That's FIFA, So I don't know why they're thinking they're high and mighty. And what gets me is, as well, ladies and gentlemen, is why they wanted to block the deal. I don't think, this is just my personal opinion, I don't think it's now to do with the human rights situation in Saudi or the piracy. Do you know what I think it is? I think the Premier League are worried, and they've had the big clubs in the Premier League onto them saying, "Oh, hang on a minute, oh, hey, Newcastle's got a good fan base, the north. I always say the northeast, Newcastle and Sunderland have got the best fans in the country, the pair of them. They're very passionate about the clubs, and it's the hotbed of English football. But Newcastle United, they've got great fans, and they're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, good fan base, passionate city about football, passionate area about football. These guys take over there, put their money into that club. Newcastle United could rise, and they could challenge us. Well, we can't have that. We can't have Newcastle United doing that." And the Premier League have thought, oh, aye, we've got to think very carefully about this. But what I say to that is, what gives the Premier League the right, to put a block on this deal? And, it said that the Saudis pulled out. Well, of course they pulled out of the deal, that current thing, because they were just sick of it. The Premier League dragging their heels. It's like, why are you doing this? I mean, if I was in their shoes, I'd be saying, like Amanda Staveley or the Reuben brothers or the PCI partners, whoever. I'd be saying to these guys, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, whoever, I'd be saying to the Premier League, well, look, what is the problem here? What is going on? Why are you not letting us have this? Why are you not letting us take over? What are you frightened of? And they can give us whatever gobbledygook they like. But at the end of the day, the Premier League, in my opinion, they just don't want Newcastle United to come in because, Newcastle, it might take a few years, but they would eventually rocket, to the top of the Premier League, start winning trophies and that. And they don't want that. They don't want the likes of Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, whoever. They don't want them clubs, being worried about that, and that's something that it really gets to you, because you're thinking, wait, Mike Ashley, he just wants to get this club sold, and I'm hearing it from certain quarters that Mike Ashley will never sell it. It's all just a ploy. But who knows? But at the end of the day, the man's been hit really badly financially with the recent lockdowns and obviously the pandemic. He has been hit in the pocket, so he'll be anxious to get this over the line. And why would he, if he wasn't going to sell the club? Why would he instruct lawyers, to go to court against the Premier League? Why would an arbitration which is going on at the minute? Why would that be set up? Why would that be set up to negotiate? Because at the end of the day, the arbitration, it's a hearing between the Premier League, Newcastle United, and the potential buyers of the club. And at the end of the day, all they have to do in that meeting is everything gets discussed, the reason why it stalled in the first place, and that sort of thing. Because they emphasise the word stalled. It hasn't broken down. It hasn't stopped. It's not ended. It's stalled. They're waiting to see what is going on here. And at the end of the day, this arbitration meetings hearing, as they call it, what they'll discuss in there is what issues are surrounding the takeover. Why is it being stopped? And at the end of the day, if they can resolve them issues, whether it's the piracy issue or whatever, all these guys have to say is, okay, we'll stop doing that. We'll go cap in hand with Qatar. We'll share the rights. We'll pay them. We'll share the rights, and they'll just say, yeah, okay, takeover granted. And the Premier League can't stop that, because at the end of the day, they're just an organisation. They're not the world's football governing body. And as daft as it sounds, Newcastle United, if the Premier League don't grant this deal to go through, all Newcastle United have to do is say, well, I tell you what, right? Do you know what we'll do? We'll just get relegated. We'll just get relegated. We'll go down to the EFL. We'll go down to the English Football League, because they're not going to reject the deal like this. They're not going to reject it. They'll just wave it through. And even if we went down, even if we, obviously that would mean just chucking the towel in, which you can't do. But even if we were demoted down to League Two, then that would mean Newcastle United, the takeover would be done. They would take over and they would say, all right, okay, fair enough. Yep, we've got the takeover. We'll see you. We'll say to the Premier League, I tell you what, we'll see you in about 4 years. 4 years' time, we'll be back and we'll blow you all out the water. We will, we'll be top of the Premier League. We'll absolutely go full pelt. And, are the Premier League actually that stupid to think that Newcastle United, that the Newcastle United board, that the owner and these buyers are just going to take this lying down just because of their, owners and directors test, which is absolutely, it's crooked as a politician, quite honestly. At the end of the day, would this sort of thing happen if it was Manchester United, as I've said before, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever? Would it happen then if it was them clubs? And my answer to that would be, no, it wouldn't. There wouldn't be any of this, because it would be like, they're one of the top six. But because it's us, they've been dragging their heels to the Premier League. And what they've actually done is, it's illegal. They can't block this business transaction of the football club, just because of hearsay. Do you know? That's like me wanting to set up a business, and say I've had a checkered past or whatever, and I've been a bit of a tearaway in my younger days or whatever. That's like me going in to buy a business in a town, and then them saying to me, "Oh, well, actually, your past or what your reputation is, we're not going to let you buy that shop. We're not going to let you buy that factory. We're not going to let you buy that business and set up in our town because just because of that." And the first thing I would do is, well, hang on a minute, I'm setting up here because I want to, and I'll take legal action against you guys, and I will get it done. And do the Premier League not think that these guys, they've got power, they've got money, and they will, if they have to, they'll take the Premier League to court and they'll wipe the floor with them. They will. And to be quite honest, I think if the Premier League were offered money, saying, here, look, I tell you what, how much is it going to cost to get this takeover through? They would take it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. But the main factor is, in this whole situation, is that the Premier League didn't want Newcastle United to come shooting away. I'm not saying it would take straight away, would start flying high. How long did it take Man City? But then you look at Manchester City. Their owners came from Abu Dhabi. There was no question over their ownership when they came in with their amount of money. There was no question marks then. It was just like, yeah, brilliant. Get yourself through. But it's because, that they've got an estimated value of 27 billion. And then Newcastle United's new prospective owners come along and they're like, 260 billion, which puts us well and truly above the rest. And it's like the richest club in world football, as it's rumoured that it could be. I think the Premier League have thought, hang on, we don't want to upset the apple cart here. And like I say, there was a couple of Premier League clubs in on blocking the deal. And I say, I'm not going to mention who they are. I've probably mentioned them already when I mentioned the top six, but they were top six clubs who, jumped in with the Premier League and says, oh no, we can't have that, we can't have that. And honestly, those two clubs who helped the Premier League block the deal, they're just absolutely, they're screaming. They're like spoiled kids. It's like, we don't want that. I want this and I want it now. We want it now. And it's like unbelievable. That this deal could, it could still go through. And I know in me gut that it will. Eventually it will go through because the Premier League cannot drag their heels without, without proper evidence that they blocked the deal. But, if they didn't pull out, the Saudis didn't pull out of the deal, this would still be going on even now. The Premier League would have dragged their heels for as long as they could, just because they thought they could. But what my message to the Premier League is, and Newcastle United fans listening in, any of these clubs who help the Premier League try and scupper the deal, the thing is, we will get taken over, and we are coming. We're coming. And we will win the Premier League. We will win the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Champions League, the Super Cup, the World Club Cup. And I know there's people out there laughing their heads off at me now, but I'll tell you something, folks don't laugh so loud when there's a few billion quid in the back pocket of the football club. Folks don't laugh so loud then. And my opinion is that the deal will go through, and the Premier League will be shown to be the absolute idiots that they are. Because if they think that they can take on these people who, they know more about business than the Premier League will ever know. If they think they're going to stop the takeover of Newcastle United eventually going through, they are mistaken. Okay, guys. Well, that's all I'm going to say this morning. I hope you've enjoyed my video this morning, and I'll catch up with you at the weekend where we play West Ham United, and hopefully we can get 3 points on the board. But at this moment in time, keep hoping that things will go through fairly shortly. Okay? All the best, guys. Have a good day.